right, we're gonna talk. We're gonna just get the elephant in the room out, immediately. Just get this out. We know June 1st is coming up. We're 3 days away, June 1st, and the big topic that is still lingering out there and has been lingering out there since the end of the season is AJ Brown. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles are having OTAs right now. AJ Brown is not present, and he won't be present. As an Eagle fan, I just want to address something here real quick. And this is no diss on AJ Brown, no nothing like that. What I have seen, I think this relationship has been fractured. So there's a couple things that I see. Obviously, we know based on what we saw at the end of the season, AJ Brown and Nick Sirianni, that is not. You could tell. You just know there's no respect there. You could tell it's sort of like, man, this dude is a clown. That's how I feel. I'm just basing this off of how I feel, and that's
Who's
how
the clown? Wait, who's the clown?
AJ Brown.
Sure
AJ Brown is saying that Nick Sirianni is a clown, and so. He talked a good thing during the year. He also had a 10-minute conversation with Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, on the field. And I think that conversation was, hey, AJ, you're causing a little bit of a ruckus in social media. You're doing all this stuff. You're out here. Could you calm that down a little bit? I know you want to leave. I know you want out. Let's get the season over, and then when the season is over, we'll see where we at, and then we'll get squared away. You don't think so?
We ain't doing that. We ain't waiting until the season.
Yeah.
We ain't waiting until the season.
Well, look. So this is what this. I saw a couple things. AJ Brown also got married to his long-term girlfriend a couple weeks ago, and there were several Eagles players there, former Eagles players that were there. Obviously, the headline was Jalen Hurts was not there. That's obvious. And now, if you go back to when Jalen Hurts was married, AJ Brown was not there. So we know there's something. Brandon Graham let it slip during the season that things aren't the same between them two, and they kind of brushed it off and played it off. But we know that relationship is fractured. They were best friends or pseudo best friends or whatever before this, and now something happened, so they fractured that friendship. It's fractured with Sirianni. So for me as an Eagles fan, this is definitely going to hurt because the guy is a great receiver. The guy is a good receiver. Really, 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 he could be consistently one of the top receivers. I think he has about 3 more good years left to really, prove a point and do some things. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the Eagles because they're bringing in this committee. The committee is not going to pan out. That I think you're going to be missing when you got a top caliber player like AJ Brown. It's hard to replace by committee, very hard to replace by committee. And so they're doing this committee thing, and I'm not convinced I don't think that's going to work. Smitty is going to do his thing as a number one receiver, but it's going to hurt. As an Eagles fan, I can tell you it's going to hurt. So that's why the last thing I'm going to say. He does not need to go anywhere in the NFC. I will look here. I will put if it were me, I was putting a bar on any NFC team. If you call, it's automatically no. It's automatically no. I don't care what you're giving up. Automatically no. Because especially teams that are on the cusp of going to the Super Bowl, no, can't have it. Can't have it. Especially with these 3 good years he got left. So yes, ship him over to the AFC. Hopefully he goes over there to the Patriots and he's with his childhood team. He's doing his thing. However, last thing I got to say, he's going to find out with Drake May what you got. You think he's frustrated? You think he was frustrated with the Eagles? With Drake May, he is going to find out this season what it truly looks like at the quarterback position. He's thinking that he's gonna automatically blow up and he's gonna take off. Ain't gonna happen. But I digress.
We talking about the same Drake May who completed over like 70% of his passes to the wide receivers last year.
I got you.
That Drake May.
Yeah, that's saying Drake May.
We talking about the same Drake May that got Josh McDaniel as the OC?
That's saying Drake May.
That just came from the Super Bowl. It was playing
Just
Super
came
Bowl.
from the Super Bowl.
All
Just
right.
came from the Super
Okay.
Bowl.
And
I look at the
he's gonna
Super Bowl.
see. No, I look at the Super Bowl, but I'm looking at we're looking at the totality of that season as well, right? Name two receivers on that squad, right? Name one. The only one I can really think of is Keyshawn Boutte,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And I think you put AJ Brown on that team with that quarterback, with that offensive coordinator, he's gonna have a heck of a season. Now I'm not saying they're gonna win the Super Bowl, but he's gonna have a he's gonna have a really good season.
Yeah. Yeah.
AJ Brown is playing. I told you this, Lynx. He right now he has his ring.
Yeah.
He has his
Yeah.
ring. He has his ring. AJ Brown is playing for legacy right now, and as well as he should, because right now I think the only thing he I think deems as a priority is making sure that when he leaves the game that he has left his mark on it, and he hasn't done that yet. So he needs a quarterback that can feed him. He needs to be in a system that can utilize him, leverage him, right? And he's not getting that with the Eagles.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if he goes to a Drake May with Josh McDaniel, I think he'll be pretty happy.
So you're looking forward to Boutte being with the Eagles?
Because Boutte is not at OTAs either for the Patriots.
Yes. You guys mentioned this. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you this, Doc, before you go. And I'm no disrespect to Tayshaun Boutte, but I don't know the dude. I really don't. I hadn't watched that much of a sample size of the Patriots to say what he's going to do. I don't even think at the end of the day he I don't know. Let me know. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just leave it there. I just don't know him. I don't know him like that, so I really can't speak intelligently.
I mean, the thing. Sorry, Doc. I know you got to go, right? But you got to. I mean, when you look at the Eagles, you look at the two receivers you guys have, two first-round receivers, one of which was a Heisman Trophy winner. Okay, and neither of them, if you ask me, have been put in a position to really show what they can do. Right? I think that they're operating in a system. And in spite of that system, they're producing. I mean, they produced well enough a couple of years ago to win a Super Bowl when they had a good OC. So that was a really good season for them. That was great. Kellen Moore, and he got them they figured it out how to get them the ball, get them in space, throw the deep pass, pass off of the play action because Barkley was having a heck of a season, and then Kellen Moore goes, and now all of that it's gone, right? And now you got an offensive coordinator. No shade to Sean Mannion, but he's never called plays before. He's a young guy, right? We don't know really what to expect. So, you want to err on the side of caution there in terms of the expectations shouldn't be set too high until you can see exactly what it is that he can do. How does he call plays? How does he call plays in critical situations, critical downs? Does he have things that can he make adjustments during the game? Okay, from game to game. Within the game, can he do these things? We don't know. We have no idea what he's capable of just yet. So if I was AJ Brown, I'd be beyond frustrated too.
When you take a look at the talent the Eagles got, right? You got an amazing running back who can do just about anything, and you have the two talented wide receivers, and you have an freakishly athletic quarterback, right? And when you look at what was going on with Kellen Moore, they facilitated the run, they brought those safeties up to try to stop the running game. And then you can use play action, and you then have to use your quarterback strengths. And this is similar to what San Fran did when they had Kaepernick. It's a lot of seam routes, diagonal crossing routes, so the guy can throw the ball on a laser, on the dime, hit the guy. You don't see a whole bunch of crossing routes or out routes because that's timing, and that's not those quarterback strength. They're not the type of guys who are just going to pick you apart. But the comebacks, the seam routes, the diagonal flags, those are the ones where they can see the ball, see the guy going, and hit the target and do the thing. And then that just went. When Kellen Moore left, that whole thing went, and now it's third and 12, and it's doing 4 deep, 4 all goes. right?
Don't remind me,
And
man. Don't remind me.
no creativity with the offense whatsoever, right? And so now it's like, hey, we're struggling because we're calling high school to Division III quarterback offensive football players. Okay, fine, we're going to bring someone else in. We'll see what Mannion does. And now you're going to potentially lose one of those three pillars in terms of your weapons, right? So I think Woody will be okay, but he's not going to be a threat like AJ Brown. So they're going to probably, potentially double team Devontae Smith. And then it's going to be, are you guys going to deliberately run the ball enough to make them have to come off of that? And if you don't, offense is going to be stagnant once again.
Yeah. I it's going to be interesting to see how this season shakes out. I'm always optimistic, but it is what it is. Lee, I wanted to ask you real quick. Doc had mentioned Matthew Stafford, with his extension. Was this a 1 year, 2 year extension? How did that shake out?
It's a 2 year, right? So they gave him a 2 year extension. He was on the back end of the 2 year that they started last year. And so they kind of extended it up another year and then added some more money on top of it. I think it's 105 million, 55 a year, breaking the bank. I mean, it's a real, for the caliber of player that he is, it's a friendly deal. Allows the Rams to continue to operate and add additional pieces to the team if they need to between now and the trade deadline. But it also gives them that security of, one, he's valued, and two, he's not in a lame duck season. So it was a good move. Yeah. And this was something that they were talking about since, like, the minute he decided that he was coming back, right? They know they had to adjust the deal. So they did right.
And what's good for the Rams, like, it is now apparent the little controversy that there was, or potentially could have been, that it's Matthew Stafford's team, right? You pay him the money as if he's the number one guy. But on the back end, it gives the Rams a legitimate 2 years to see what Ty Simpson can do in practice, right? Because ain't nobody gonna be asking when y'all gonna play Ty Simpson. Hey, what's going on with Ty Simpson? Like, the next 2 years, they paying Stafford the money as if he's the guy, and then, assuming those 2 years are the last 2 years, you now essentially have Ty Simpson on the rookie contract for 2 years, could do the 5th-year option or do the big extension at that point, the big new contract at that point. So, but it gives the Rams that wiggle room of finish off the Stafford's career, and they can get in a short window of a quarterback on that rookie contract for a couple of years and see where it gets them. So it's a nice move on both aspects, the now and then the near future. So
but going into next season, that's going to be the big one for us, because we're going to have a whole bunch of free agents, right? At that time, you're going to have Puka Nacua, a couple of linemen, right? With Kobe Turner and Brian Young, and then I think there are Devontae Adams and a couple other players. So there's going to be some real key pieces that are going to be, that we're going to need to wrap up and handle. So doing this deal now, getting that out the way, front loading the money, freeing things up for next season to be able to handle those contracts, it just makes sense. And then when you talk about the whole Ty Simpson situation, if, let's say, Stafford decides to retire, right, after this season, then you got a quarterback coming in who has a year of learning, the McVay system, learning under Stafford. If he's, 80% of what they think he's supposed to be, he should be able to come in and start that season on a rookie contract, and then we have all of that money to be able to distribute to the rest of the team.
Yeah, that's big, because sitting that year behind Stafford and learning the system and all that stuff, that's huge for a quarterback in this day and age. Right now, they pushing a lot of these rookie quarterbacks out there that's not really ready to take this on. And so for him sitting that year out, man, that's gonna prove, I think, big. The question I got for you, a follow up on that, is, with this next class of quarterbacks that's coming out, do you feel like, I guess they felt like Ty Simpson would be better suited a year in the system and could potentially take over if Matthew Stafford retires, and be better than one of the rookies that's coming out next year?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm basing it off of what Les Snead, the way he described Ty Simpson in terms of his ability from the neck up. He called it like his central nervous system being able to process things, quickly, understanding protections, moving the line when need be, recognizing where the blitz is coming from. And then also he has the ability to kind of maneuver within the pocket, escape danger, and get the ball out accurately. He's not the most athletic. He's not the most athletically talented, but he knows how to play the position, and he knows how to play the position McVay's way. So I guess I liken it to, like, let's say the quarterbacks that are coming out next season. They're going to be way more talented than Ty Simpson, again from an athletic perspective, but being able to play the position the way McVay wants you to play it at a high level. I don't think any of those guys fits that description. When you compare, like, let's say, like a Caleb Williams in the Ben Johnson system, Caleb Williams is a one of one. None of these guys coming out next season is on Caleb Williams' level, of course, right? But you see the disparity in terms of how Caleb Williams plays the position and how Ben Johnson would like him to play the position, right? McVay doesn't have that tolerance. Okay. Now, if it's a Caleb Williams, yes, he'll make the adjustment. But if you're coming in and you're a clip under that from a gift and athletic perspective, he's not going to have any tolerance for that. That's, Jared Goff, right? He's going to get rid of that guy because you're not doing what I need you to do, how I need you to do it. This guy, Ty Simpson, he does it apparently the way McVay wants him to do it. When I watched him on the Gruden camp, Gruden, like, McVay came from that lineage of coaching, right? And Gruden, as he was kind of grilling Ty Simpson, I think at the end of the session, he was like, "I wish I could coach you."
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of quarterbacks and being a little frustrated at times, not Ty Simpson, but being frustrated. You mentioned Jared Goff and them getting rid of Jared Goff. I'm going to touch on this real quick.
Mhm.
Aaron Rodgers, and I get hyped when I start talking about Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if this is hearsay or not, but according to the report that I read, Aaron Rodgers is pushing back on Mike McCarthy's offense. He's like, Mike, we ain't doing this, Mike. We ain't doing this, Mike. We doing what I want to do. So the question I got for you guys with this, Aaron Rodgers pushing back on Mike McCarthy's offense, which I don't even know what offense he got because he's lying anyway. But anyway, do they switch this offense up for Aaron Rodgers, who's on a farewell tour? He said he was going to retire at the end of the season. Do they switch the offense up for Aaron Rodgers? Is he worth that?
No, they are not going to switch the offense up for Aaron Rodgers. But when Aaron Rodgers gets to the huddle, and then when Aaron Rodgers gets to the line of scrimmage,
switch it up himself.
He gonna do what Aaron Rodgers want to do. This ain't no different than what happened towards the end of Mike McCarthy's time in Green Bay. He didn't like what McCarthy was calling. He started calling his own plays. So be right back to where we were. We shouldn't be shocked, right? Be right back to where we were.
He did it with LaFleur as well, right? He would change the play. I remember there was a hot. I think McFleur had he was mic'd up, and I think it was a critical play, critical down, and it was right after a timeout. Aaron Rodgers is going back to the line of scrimmage, and before he left the sideline, LaFleur went up to him and said, "I trust you." Right? Now, that could be interpreted a whole lot of different ways, right? But if you already have the play, and I gave you the play, and if you have to tell the dude, like, "Hey, I trust you to do the right thing," whatever that thing is, he been switching up them plays. So LaFleur, no, he didn't have the reins. He know he couldn't control him either, which is why they quickly wanted him not him as in Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay so that they can get Jordan Love up in there. So I expect him to do, as Doc said, what he normally does. If he's already communicating that he doesn't like certain plays that they're running in practice during this is just OTA. If he's already communicating that, yeah, come game time, come the regular season, he's going to be switching up a whole bunch of plays, man. Well, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I feel so sorry for.
They need to hope and pray that Drew Alla or Will Howard, that one of them hits.
Yeah.
Just pray that one of those guys hit, and that they can come in and be the guy for the next 10 seasons.
Yeah, that would be ideal for Pittsburgh. But boy, to deal with Aaron Rodgers this year, that's a nightmare.
But you can't sit Aaron Rodgers on his farewell tour.
Shoot,
I
boy,
mean,
look here. I should have. Boy, that would have been. Let me tell you, I would have been like Aaron Glenn. I would have been like Aaron Glenn. Don't come. Don't
Don't
come.
come.
Mm-mm.
No. Come so I can tell you don't come no more.
Oh man, yes,
Yep.
yeah. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yep.
All right, so another story here. We're sticking in the QB theme here. In Atlanta, Michael Penix Jr. has been cleared for 7-on-7 play, and but not cleared for 11-on-11 play. And Lee, according to what you heard, you were saying that they say Tua looks good in Atlanta. I don't know, man. I said this before, and I'm gonna say this again. If and he who I don't even know who their third string is. So it's Penix, it's Tua, and I don't even know who their third string is. Let me see. Let me see who Atlanta third string is. Falcons.
It is Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
I think they may come out better with Trevor Siemian at this point. I mean, I know Trevor Siemian is a journeyman, but they may come out better with Trevor Siemian. I don't know how it's going to look there in Atlanta, but Lee, just go into what you heard about Tua, man. This is just interesting.
Look, what's the coach's name again? I guess I
Stefanski.
Stefanski. So he got up on the podium and he was, given, a whole lot of positive feedback on what he's seeing with Tua. And they're showing clips. We can see the footage. He's throwing the ball very, very well against air, right? It's 7-on-7. They're in shorts, and he looks great.
Look good.
But you know what? It all depends on how they fashion this offense, man. They got big body receivers, Pitts, Drake London, those guys. They did pick up a speedster in Zachariah Branch. That's not a good fit for me. I mean, in my perspective, with Tua can't get him the ball deep, right? But if this offense is constructed in a way where they're just actioning off of like the run, it has to be centered around B.J. Robinson. First and foremost, he has to be the centerpiece of this offense. And then from that, you're hitting, short to middle distance passes. Then he'll be fine. That running part is going to be critical because that's going to help protect him from, unnecessary hits and sacks and stuff and so forth. But if they get into a position where they have to put all the onus on him, they're in trouble. That's where they're going to be in trouble because we know he's still one hit away. We've seen the evidence there. He went unscathed last season. Good for him. That's great. But, bump to the head and he's out. And then you have another quarterback in Penix. As much as I really like Penix in college and we all like the way that he can throw the ball, he has a lot of, he has a lot of arm talent. But he has a litany of history with injuries, several ACLs, shoulder injury. Like he just can't seem to stay upright. So it just doesn't seem to be like this is not a recipe for success, at least from a durability standpoint, at that quarterback position. And to your point, Lynx, it looks like the only quarterback that they have that seems that he can stay on his feet is Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
Whoever the left tackle and the right tackle are for the Falcons, they need to make sure that their name don't get called the whole season. Because if folks blowing past them, getting some sacks, yeah, that's going to be problematic. Because Tua is one of the most accurate quarterbacks if he has time to throw and he can step into his throw. That's why he looked amazing at Alabama, because Alabama had a NFL pro offensive line in college at the SEC, and he had time to throw and had weapons to throw to, and he's just putting the ball, you want it on the inside shoulder or the outside shoulder? Like, what shoulder you want it on? Like, he's that accurate. But if he can't step into the throw, get someone in his face, he's not nearly as accurate. And he doesn't have a strong arm, right? He's perfect for the West Coast offense, but he is not. Al Davis would never draft Tua Tagovailoa, right? So if they can keep them upright and they can run their quick strike West Coast balls out in 2 seconds, both with Penix and with Tua, you have a decent offense. Penix can at least get you that deep threat that Tua just can't, right? So, but if those dudes are running for their lives, if they're having dirty jerseys week after week, yeah, Simeon gonna be in there by early November. So,
Sure.
You know what? Got quick aside here, right? Remember, because I'm kind of going to the Kansas City Chiefs here, based off of what you're saying, right? Remember that offensive tackle Jawan Taylor? For
yes,
he is known for what? He was the most penalized offensive tackle in all of football for the past couple of seasons. False starts, illegal motion, the whole nine, right? He's penciled in as the right tackle for the Falcons right now.
Shoot. Yeah. Season over.
So, I mean, I don't understand. Huh? He should be the left tackle, but
which is their left tackle because the quarterbacks are both left-handed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that he's protecting their blind side.
He's protecting the blind side.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah. Well, Simeon better start warming up. Because it's gonna be tough sledding for them in Atlanta, man. It's gonna be tough. You can't. I don't know. Question for you guys: when it comes to players and situations, domestic situations, and that kind of thing, that goes down. We have another one that just cropped up. Again, these are allegations. These are not. This is not. I'm not saying this happened, but just a report. These are just allegations that Josh Jacobs was arrested on multiple charges, including felony strangulation allegations. He's been released from custody. There are no formal charges yet, and the Packers, they kind of shut down any player media access because obviously they got to see what's going on before they allow this to come out. It's these kind of stories happen every single year. I know the NFL prepares these guys, or at least has multiple forums, they have all kind of things where they're telling the guys about money, about women, about everything. Everything. They I believe they got it covered. And do you think that the NFL should start stepping in a little bit earlier in these things and letting it, kind of, I don't know what they can do, but it's this happens every year, and it seems like guys, they just don't learn. And so I don't know what are you guys' thoughts on this situation? It just, again, you talk about strangulation. That is, boy, I don't know, I just don't know what to say about it.
Well, first and foremost, we have to let it all play out and see exactly what happened. It's an accusation. Look, all athletes, and that's just football, but baseball, basketball, they're easy targets for stuff like this. And you've had instances where the allegations were false, right? So not to say that that's the situation in this, we don't know, but before we, paint him as, okay, this is, as a strangler, right? Let's make sure that we let it all play out and figure that out first. Now, if it does come out and let's say that is the case, then of course he's going to have to be penalized, and to what extent, the fullest extent as he should, because you should never put your hands on a woman, right? Now, to answer your question in terms of what the NFL should do, I don't know what else they could do outside of what they've been doing. I think they've been doing a pretty good job of, establishing these programs, getting them in as, they have rookie sessions, these rookie, conferences where they're teaching them about financial stability, financial efficacy, how to handle themselves out there. I remember sometime back, they brought in Michael Vick and they had him share his story, right, about how, look, I messed up, this is what I did and this is what happened to me. Don't let this happen to you. And they do that every year. They bring in different guys who, could share their stories about what they've done, so that hopefully it can kind of resonate, so that the rookies won't repeat what they have, what that guy had experienced. But at the end of the day, these are grown men. These are grown men, right? You can't babysit them, right? The NFL they cannot monitor these guys, and nor should they 24/7. they have to be held accountable for what they do, and they have to be able to handle themselves accordingly in those type of situations. So I don't know, man. Like, we have to see exactly how this kind of plays out. See if, in fact, the evidence does lead to and show that, he actually did do this. If there's some sort of like a Ray Rice tape, like on him, showing like him in the act and all these other different things, or if there's evidence of whatever the markings are, yada yada yada, and then let that play out. Because don't forget the whole thing with Stephon Diggs, right?
Right. Yeah.
Look how that played out.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He came out like that went to court, and come to find out the girl was lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So we have to see first before we can start making any opinions on this.
I agree with all the stuff you said. There's also the possibility, not saying this is the case, but there's also the possibility sometimes the prosecutors love to make their mark off of athletes, so they're going to come with the heaviest charges they could do based on whatever's going on, right? So he's booked for felony strangulation and suffocation, which I actually have not heard that charge until this one on the suffocation part. And also there was a charge like intimidation of a victim. Right. So like, are they throwing the book at him? Is this to make the point? I don't know if this is them just trying to get the upper hand and then figure out with a plea deal what they could do. If it's just someone just throwing the book and then seeing how things play out. I think if the formal charges do happen and it goes to court and he's convicted, that's some pretty heinous stuff that he's being accused of doing, right? And from there's the whole legal aspect, but then there's the other issue where if it goes to court, even if he's found not guilty, did he break the personal conduct policy of the National Football League? So you got to deal with all that stuff too, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and then talking about the league trying to do stuff, it's like, hey, even if you're not convicted of something, if enough stuff happened that we don't like it, we can penalize you anyway. So I don't know, from that standpoint, how stuff plays out. But no, and I think what folks also got to kind of have to weigh is you got so many more football players on a team than hockey, baseball, basketball. You're gonna just statistically hear more football players doing stuff than basketball, baseball, hockey. The off season's longer too, right? And if idle hands, with the devil's work, you got a lot more downtime. To get for stuff to play out. But all that being said, and just from the victim standpoint, whether it is as heinous as it's portrayed to be, if something happened, is just not right. I completely agree with Lee. You don't put hands. You shouldn't put hands on anybody, much less as a guy on a woman, much less professional athlete on a woman. So,
yeah.
Well,
let me switch gears here a little bit. The Jacksonville Jaguars are in OTAs. A lot of buzz going on in OTAs in Jacksonville. I think their record was 13-3. Was it? Or somewhere, I think
4, 12-5, something like that.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere around there. So they got some buzz going on in Jacksonville. New energy around Trevor Lawrence. Travis Hunter is involved. He's going to be playing more cornerback. I heard Liam Cohen is going to be changing the offense slightly. I don't know what that looks like. What I want to find out from you guys, Trevor Lawrence is I think, in just my opinion, I think he is approaching, or he's entering the Dak Prescott zone. Dak has his own zone. And that Dak Prescott zone is one where, you got talent and you have talented players around you, but you just can't get over the hump. You can't seal the deal. You can't really make something happen, but you got talent and it's there. It's evident, but you just can't. Is Trevor Lawrence entering this zone where Dak is, and should he be on the hot seat at this point in his career? They had, like I said, they had a great season last season, and they're right there, and they're one of those teams. Don't know who they're going to be this season, but what do you guys think about Trevor Lawrence?
Let me go first, and I will try not to digress into the whole Dak Prescott thing, though I may come back to that and touch on that. So I don't know if he's on the hot seat. I was not impressed with the Jaguars last year. I know they think the big game against Denver and beat Denver. It's like, okay, you got to take them legitimately from that standpoint. But we're going to see what happens when they don't have the fourth place schedule and how they play now, but everybody's coming after them, expecting them to play to do well. I don't think they've got that much talent in Jacksonville on the offensive side of the ball. So, right, like who do they have in Jacksonville that you would trade your team's receivers or running back for, right? And if you wouldn't trade anybody, they have talent as your team, right? And for the Eagles and for the Browns, etc. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They gave up not a king's ransom, but a lot to get Hunter, and now like they're still kind of trying to do this two-way, but I think a bit more on the defensive side versus the offensive side, because they don't want to say they gave up too much for someone who should just be playing one side of the ball. And hopefully he stays healthy this season, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they don't overuse him. But yeah, I don't know how much of it's just them being in a smaller market, but I just not been overwhelmed by the Jaguars. So,
I mean, yeah, it was a quiet 13-win season, right? They went 13-4. 13. Really good season. I think they ended up winning the South, right? AFC South.
Yeah, they did.
Yep. Yeah. So statistically, because basically when Doc was talking, I was like, let me look up Trevor Lawrence's stats. So he threw for 4,000 yards, 4,007 to be exact, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Right. So he had a pretty good season. He had a pretty good season. 60% completion percentage. I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think they've kind of failed him since he's been there. The coaching carousel until now, Liam is the first coach to kind of provide him some sort of stability, I think, with some competency on the offensive side. So I think we're gonna see him kind of growing now from here, as long as Liam is able to continue to evolve the offense and not stay stagnated. The talent around him, it's not great. Brian Thomas, I think, I think he's a pretty good receiver. Hunter, he plays both ways. To me, that still doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't see how that's gonna help make the team better. Yeah, it's cool, right? It can draw some attraction, but I would have Hunter as a wide receiver, right? And then, let that offense explode. They lost Travis Etienne. He went to, I think he's with the Saints now. Okay, so yeah. He's with the Saints, and the pronunciation of his name
Atchen
is Atchen is right. He's correcting everyone's like Travis Atchen, but yeah. So now I don't even know who their starting running back is, because they didn't have a lot of depth there to begin with. I think they had some guy named Tootin, but outside of him, Bracial Tootin. I think he was a rookie last season. He showed some flashes, but that running back room is lacking. So yeah, I think Lawrence is good. He's stable. He's the only stable thing they have on that offense. Liam needs to now figure out how he can, work his magic and get this thing continuing to point upwards, and build off of last season.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I think for them, definitely they had another receiver, Parker Washington. He had 847 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. Yeah. So but again, like you said, it's not, nobody's really jumping off the sheets, want to trade for anybody that's on that team. So yeah.
So you trying to put him in the Phillip Rivers category?
Yeah.
You trying to put Trevor Lawrence in the Phillip Rivers category? Really good quarterback who just kind of there. So
yeah, that's what it's looking like. Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah.
But I think in that division though, they have a chance to really, riddle off a couple of good seasons. Texans in that division too, right?
Yep. It's all CJ Stroud dependent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They definitely got hope there in that division. They could definitely do something. It's wide open, So yeah. All right. I want to hit you guys with something here real quick. I know the season hadn't even got started. We just doing OTAs, but you got some coaches, man, that are out there right now. I just want to get you guys' opinions on these coaches, and tell me what you think. This is just we just throwing it out there. This is not anything. You don't take it too seriously. But which coach you think is going to could be one and done, or might even after season one be on the hot seat? You got Brian Daboll, and these aren't head coaches. Don't need to be head coaches. These just coaches. Brian Daboll, Mike McDaniel, Dennis Allen, Zach Taylor, Kevin Stefanski, Nick Sirianni.
So the stabest one is Zach Taylor. He in Cincinnati. They ain't.
He's safe. He's
safe.
Yeah, he's safe.
He's safe. So just put a little asterisk by his name.
You got Zach Taylor. Okay, Zach Taylor safe. You got Nick Sirianni, Kevin Stefanski, Devin Allen, Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll.
I think the hottest seat is definitely Sirianni, man.
Sirianni.
It's and coming in with a new OC, there's just so many unknowns. The last season was just a debacle. It was a letdown with the talent that you guys had. It was just all season. It just didn't look right? So I think his seat is hotter than anybody else's. Daboll is going to be fine. He has a quarterback, right? So I think he's going to be okay. Who was the other one? Mike McDaniel. He's fine.
Yeah,
he has a quarterback. He has Harbaugh. They're going to be okay. I don't have any concerns there.
No, where's Dennis Allen coaching?
Dennis Allen is he's the defensive coordinator for the Bears, right? So I think they're gonna be.
They'll be okay.
They're gonna be okay, right?
Yeah.
I think Atlanta. And you talk about one and done. That's a potential for one and done, because again, I think you can definitely see a scenario where both of those quarterbacks go down.
Yeah,
and it seems like he vouched to have Tua, like he wanted to have Tua on that team.
Yeah, with him. Yeah, that's a good point. With him vouching for Tua like that and bringing Tua in, and he's leaning more in that Tua direction. Yeah, this could be a disaster early. This could be a early disaster. So, yeah.
The two coaches that may not make it to the end of October would be Aaron Glenn,
I forgot
the Jets, and Sirianni. If things go south, 2-6, 1-7, those two guys may go before the end of October. If it ends up being a hot mess, the guy who will still be there, even though they probably should let him go with a one and done, would be in Pittsburgh with McCarthy. If the Rodgers thing ends up being a hot mess, Rodgers gets hurt, they bring in Howard, they bring in Allah, team goes 3-13, 3-14, 4-13. It's Pittsburgh. I don't see. Usually that ownership is pretty stable and they'll just weather the storm. And if Rodgers doesn't get hurt but just doesn't play well, and you have the friction between him and McCarthy, they're just going to weather the storm. But yeah.
I mean, knowing Pittsburgh's, their background and how they handle their coaching, they don't they're not quick to pull that lever, right? I would be shocked if he's one and done there, no matter how bad the season is.
Yep.
I think this is, Aaron Rodgers is not McCarthy's pick. He didn't. I seriously doubt he wanted Aaron Rodgers to be his quarterback for the season. I think this is just an opportunity for him to get the other guys right. So bring in Aaron Rodgers, give these guys a year grace period to try to learn this new offense now, and see which one of these guys could take the reins going forward. So no matter what happens this season with Pittsburgh, I think McCarthy's going to have at least another season after this.
With their track record of Pittsburgh, they keep coaches forever, right? I can't see McCarthy being around for 8 years, 10 years. I don't see that happening.
5 years.
So you think 5 years? 5 years. Yeah.
If he does decent, 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, if he hits 500, it'll be 5 years.
Plug before 3.
Yeah. That makes sense. Last question I got for you guys: Which fan base do you think is lying to themselves when it comes to their team? We got the Cowboys. We got the Jets. Dolphins, Falcons, Browns, and Bears. Which fan base you think is lying to themselves? Put this in the chat so y'all can see it. Hold on a sec.
Gotcha.
Let's do
So when you
this.
say lying to themselves, they're thinking that they're Super Bowl bound.
They're thinking they got something going on this season. Yes.
The Jets really believe that?
Oh yeah, what Jets fans are there? What? Oh yeah. Let me see. I'm saying that. All right, I just put those teams in the chat right there. So Cowboys, Jets, Dolphins. Because the Dolphins fans have I've at least I've been talking to some Dolphins fans, and they think, even without any receivers or anything, they say, man, look here, we got our QB, this what we needed. We got rid of Tua, we got our QB, and then Falcons fans, at least they're going through the dilemma of the quarterback, but they believe in the roster, so they believe they got enough offense. They got okay-ish defense. And then in Cleveland, they just won QB away. Which QB is it going to be? We got the defense. Which QB is it going to be? We right there. Then you got the Bears. The Bears have shown. I mean, they showed this season, Doc. They in the division, but they showed this season that they might be on the up and up. And then of course you got the Cowboys. They're gonna win every year. They go into the Super Bowl every year, so you can't even, I had to throw them in there just because, but, they go into the Super Bowl every year.
Nobody beats the Cowboys when it comes to this.
What's that?
Nobody beats the Cowboys when it comes to delusion. I can't see another fan base that's more just insufferable, right? When it comes to false expectations of their teams. So I'd have to go with the Cowboys.
Cowboys. All right.
Yeah, I'm going Cowboys.
I think Bears fans may be more disappointed come the end of the season, because with the talent they have, they think it should all come together. But we know with that Caleb Williams doing stuff off script, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And you're going to get, right now, a poor man's version of the Brett Favre makes a great play. What was he thinking on back-to-back drives? But yeah, I gotta agree with you when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys fans, man. Because every year, every time they win, it's awesome and amazing. And then when they lose, you gotta fire everybody. As the saying goes, if you're a Cowboys fan and you winning, no better place to be than Dallas. If you're not a fan and the Cowboys lose, no better place to be than Dallas. So hope springs eternal.
Yeah.
Almost for 30 years in running.
30 years plus. Doc, you ever been in that? You've been in the stadium? You've been in
Yeah, man. Couple games.
Okay.
It is a beautiful stadium. The pageant, Dallas loves football. I mean, high school football got pageantry, man. So
right.
So for that stadium and the cheerleaders and the food and the screen and everything, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
when the team starts losing, starts getting a little quiet. So
yeah,
and unfortunately, to some degree, because them prices are pretty high. You see some corporate folks, and you see some folks who buy the tickets to sell the tickets to make money off the tickets. So the visiting team tends to be represented fairly well at the stadium.
Yeah.
So,
wow, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, well, I have to agree with you guys on this one. It's the Dallas Cowboys are, a team. I think I know one Cowboys fan. I know one Cowboys fan that is truly not delusional, and he always keeps it real. Got a shout out to Darnell on this. He's a Cowboys fan, diehard Cowboys fan, lives in Philly, but I got to give him a shout out because he's one who. He definitely all times is a realist, with the Cowboys. And so I think he's the only realist fan the Cowboys have ever had. But yeah, I got to agree with you guys on this one, man.
The only
one. Only one. That's it. I mean, if you could name a Cowboy fan who ain't delusional, I mean, like I say, I only know one.
Gotta just to help him out. My old man's
My
a
uncle.
Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
He met Bullet Bob Hayes. He's been a fan from the Bullet Bob Hayes years.
Yeah.
He is hopeful.
Hopeful.
Not
But he's
delusional.
not delusional.
Okay. We got two. We got two. Yeah. All right.
Yes. So
Yeah, man.
hey, Dad, that's going. So yeah.
All right, fellas. Yeah, man. OTAs are going to continue on. By the time we meet again, AJ Brown will be a Patriot, or he will be somewhere in the AFC, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But we'll follow up on these OTAs, see what's coming out of here, see what the rookies doing, seeing how things are progressing at these camps, man. So looking forward to the next couple weeks.
Hey, real quick, this is a complete like curveball, right? Because this isn't even talking about football. Just real quick, this is basketball related, right? Because Knicks, they finally made it to the finals. I'm not a Knicks fan, but it's really I think this is good for basketball, right? But I saw this clip on social media comparing the seat prices from the last time they were in the finals, 1994, to now, right? Where courtside seats in 94 were in the hundreds, right? From $100 to $300, courtside seats.
What?
Yeah.
Hundreds.
I don't know if this is true, but this is what I'm seeing. I just did a search on it, and Copilot is telling me that is the case as well, right?
Yes.
But and now we look at those same courtside seats, and they're in the six figures.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Is $183,000. Like this is crazy. So they said the cheapest seats available in MSG starts at $3,400 to $3,700. The cheapest seats. Yeah,
man. They've been starving. Hey, look, the Knicks fans have been starving. I don't know.
Supply,
Stephen
demand.
A. And
look, you're gonna be starving even more buying these tickets.
Yeah.
You talk about
Hey, look. Hey, this for them. This a once in a lifetime thing, man. For the Knicks to get to look. They Knicks fans have been. They say we don't want to talk too much because we may jinx it. We may jinx it. And what's his name on the podcast that you told me with Mason? What's my
It
man
is what
name?
it is with Cameron and Mace.
Cam. Yeah, Cam say, I don't know if you've watched any segments with him and Stephen A on there. Stephen A so giddy, about the Knicks, and Cam just sitting there stone face like, I'm not even gonna say nothing, man. I'm not even gonna say nothing because I know the Knicks. He said, I know the Knicks. He said they're gonna get you all excited, and then they're gonna let you down at the end of the day. So, but I'm glad too that the Knicks made it because their fan base they going crazy. So that they even made the finals. So I'm happy for the Knicks that they made it. But I think on the other side, if they meet OKC again, it's gonna be a good. If they meet OKC, it's gonna be a good match. Going to be a good matchup between those teams. I'm excited to. I'll be excited to watch it. I hadn't watched the NBA that much, but seeing that the Knicks made it,
you don't want to watch an OKC game.
OKC getting it, yeah.
Every shot they falling on the ground flopping. Every shot
they are the flop kings now. They are the flop kings.
Yes, it's bad. It's bad. So I thought LeBron was bad. This is on another.
I'm going to bring this back to football. Nolan's still the owner, right, for the Knicks.
Yeah,
right?
he is.
Like 10 years ago, wasn't he like the worst owner like in all of sports?
Just last year,
horrible, right? And and just you get a player here, GM do their stuff. Next thing you know, teams in the finals, right? And yet there's this football team that hasn't been to the NFC Championship game since like 1990 something, right? And it just goes to show even bad owners get lucky and get their team there every so often, right? So that guy is doing stuff deliberately with the meddling to keep his team from getting to the NFC Championship game, much less Super Bowl. Because if the Cardinals could do it, if the Knicks could do it, right? like literally every team in the NFC has been, except one, this century, right? And the Knicks have gotten there to the finals. Anyway, yeah, the team shall remain nameless, but we know who it is. I won't say the name. We know what we're talking about. Anyway,
yeah. We'll talk about that 360 later. But yeah, man. Interesting stuff. What you saying, Lee?
No, nothing to add. Nothing to add. I get where Doc coming from, but one is a soap opera, the other ones aren't.
Young and the Restless, man.
Yep.
Who shot JR? Right. So
yep,
that's right. That's right.
They even named the TV show after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fellas. All right, man.
Yep.
We'll catch up on the next one.
All right.
Cool. Later.
Yep.